Best of r/entitled parents episode 157. Subscribe for Reddit videos daily. A mobile user here, so there might be typos. This isn't my story but my mother's. So recently there was a circuit breaker and you should not go out unless necessary. Although exercising is allowed but not too many people can be with you. There is also a fine if you do not wear a mask. A few days ago my mother wanted to cook for my family and decided to go buy some ingredients. This is allowed. On the way to the grocery store, she saw Em and her child at a playground playing. My mother, being the kind and caring person she is, went over there and said that they should not be playing at the playground, especially without a mask. Em, my child and I do not have the virus and playing at a playground is fine. My mom, even if you do not have the virus you still have to wear a mask or others might infect you. Em, does it look like I care if we get it? It only kills boomers. Yes, she said boomer. My mom, calling old people boomers is disrespectful and you will get fined if you do not wear a mask. Em, it's just a fine. Does it look like I care? Now just let me and my son play, so get lost. Em's son started to cough at the floor and my mom slowly backed up. My mom, has he been coughing a lot? Em, yes, and why should you care? At this point my mom was worried for that kid. My mom, you should probably stay at home if your child is coughing. He might have the virus. Em, my angel is very hygienic, he doesn't have it. The kid literally licks the snot on his hand and my mom was disgusted. She did not want to risk getting infected. Yes, she wore a mask, but hey, you can still get infected. A mask doesn't give you immunity to the virus. She walked away and went to buy the ingredients she needed, and once she came home, she shared the story with me and went to cook. Some people are so irresponsible during these times. I understand that maybe Em wants to spend some time with her son, but she and her son should at least wear a mask. The government gave out a total of 4 masks per household and 1 more for every person in the household, so Em probably has a mask. Hope you enjoyed this story. Thank you. Next. This was about a year ago. First off, let me say, unlike my last post in this awesome sub, this only involved 4 people. Me, pregnant lady, a black lady and Karen, a mother of 4 with, probably, 4 different fathers. Wick entitled her to 4 different CSA payments so the lazy, ugly shit cunt can spend all day sitting on her ass watching Jeremy Kyle. I've noticed you call EMs Karen. Can someone explain that to me please? So, it's 17:45 on a Friday evening. I'm on a train home after a pretty chilled work day. I'm looking forward to spending a quiet weekend with my wife and husband. Wife being my actual wife, my husband being my Xbox. It's a marriage of convenience. Like Chuck and Larry, winking face with stuck out tongue. So, first stop, New Cross Gate. Karen gets on her double-barreled pram with the youngest of her brood, the 2 older ones on foot. Noticing the train seats are packed, she rolls her eyes and parks the pram right in front of the door so no other passengers can get on or off without having to ask her to move it, pulls out her tacky-covered iPhone and starts FBing, probably moaning that she can't find a seat on the train. So, 2 stops after this, on a Oak Park, pregnant lady gets on the train. Still no seats, so I stand and say, "Would you like a seat?" To which she replies, "Thank you. Thank you so much." I notice out of the corner of my eye, Karen is triggered. Karen, excuse me, why didn't you offer me a seat when I got on? Me, you didn't ask. Karen, neither did she. Me, she didn't have to. Karen, I've got 4 children here. My life ain't easy. I was about to say something back, but pregnant lady decided to jump in. Pregnant lady, yes, must be hard work dragging your fat ass from the bed to the sofa every day. There was a deathly silence, then a few stifled giggles. Opposite where pregnant lady was sitting, a smartly dressed black lady smirked and nodded as to say well said. Karen's jaw dropped. Karen, don't you speak to me like that. Who the fuck do you think you are? Pregnant lady, I'm a working mum-to-be who pays her taxes and is equally disappointed as the rest of these working people that their tax money goes toward paying your benefits. I'm also the wife of a hard-working man who also pays taxes, and is as fucked off as I am about you milking the system. Now tell me, who the fucking hell are you? Karen is now raging. She aggressively walks towards us. My back goes up. I don't make a habit of hitting women, but I will block one who would attack another woman. Unless that woman is my wife, then I'll knock her opponent spark out without a second thought. However, I didn't have to, as smartly dressed black lady stands up and coolly says, "Go back to your children and shut the fuck up before I turn you inside out." I look at pregnant lady, she looks at me. Guy sitting next to pregnant lady gets up to get off at the next stop. Pregnant lady grabs my arm and literally swings me into the empty seat. Karen looks at the three of us with entitled contempt before leading her kids, none of whom made a comment during the incident, off the train, swearing and muttering under her breath. Black lady sits back down and looks at me. Black lady, you, sir, are a gentleman. I can see that. Hence why I jumped in to save you from having to fight her. Me. Thank you. I appreciate that. Black lady nods at me and then looks at pregnant lady. Black lady, and you, darling. That was brilliant what you said. You don't hold back. Pregnant lady, South London, born and bred. Black lady, same here. Both ladies look at me. Me. Same here. So, cut a long story short, both ladies left the train at the same stop, leaving me with something to tell my wife when I got home. Thank you. Next. So this was around the beginning of the school year when I just turned 17. Some background. The car was really my mom's car, but she let me drive it to school and use it because she got a new one. It was after school and I was giving my friend a ride home and she had asked me to stop by the store. EP entitled parent for friend me well. Me PO police officer. So we went to the store to buy milk because we were running low. When we got out of the store, we started to head back to the car, and when we got there was a woman with a small child, probably around 7, trying to open my car door. Emmy, mom, what are you doing? EP, well, I locked myself out of my car and the keys are inside. Do you mind calling a locksmith? I looked over at my friend who began to laugh. He looked back at me with this huge grin on his face. Emmy, mom, I think you're confused. This is my car. I took out the keys and showed her that the car did belong to me. I even unlocked it and relocked it to show her that the keys belonged to the car. Almost as soon as I did that, she began to screech at the top of her lungs. EP thief. Give back my keys right now. For those keys belong to him because it's his car. EPIT is not his car. He's probably too young to have a license anyway. I look really young for my age and people usually think I'm 14. There was a cop at the gas station that was next to the store. I was parked near it, so he heard the screaming. He walked up to us. PO, what's going on here? EP, this kid stole my keys and is trying to take my car. He also said he and his friend would beat my kid if I didn't give him the car. He looked at me. PO, are you even old enough to drive? I then pull out my license and show it to him. After he looked at it, he asked me to hand back the women's keys. Me and my friend both told him that the car belonged to me. We ended up having to look at the insurance on the car, which had my mom's name on it, and we called her to confirm it was her name. I think the EP was arrested and I don't know what happened to the kid. After the cop said I could go, me and my friend were gone. Thank you. Next. Edit. I messed up the title, y'all. I meant to say, entitled Karen fucks up so badly at an animal hospital. Enjoy the story. Hey all. Not me, but a distant cousin of mine. I, being bored out of my mind these days, called my cousin, 25M, to check in to see how he was doing, and he gladly told me a story that happened to him about a week ago. He works at an animal hospital, some are still open, unlike what you may think. Anyways, as for detailing his job, he told me that company policy during the coronavirus is that they can do exams in an owner's car for contagious illnesses like kennel cough or the doggy flu. For more experimental, as in, attempting to diagnose something they can't see from the get-go, they would allow the owner to stay in the car while they work on their pet in the hospital, or in dire situations, such as a put-down, they allow the owner to come in with them, but not just anyone. From what I collected, they don't want any cross-contaminating, both in terms of pets, with the illnesses they are being treated for, and the families, in case of the corona, themselves. Here's the cast of our story. MC, my cousin. Karen, atypical Karen. Do I really need to explain more? A. Karen's entitled husband. ES. Karen's spoiled son. ED. Karen's spoiled daughter. A whole family of entitled people. I know. Doctor. The doctor that he works under. C1. My cousin's coworker. Receptionist. It's a perfectly normal Tuesday morning. MC gets to his job early because doctor requested that my cousin gets there early to help her out with something. That matter is resolved pretty quickly and my cousin starts to go about the rest of my day. While my cousin does love his job, he often talks about how it shatters his heart to see animals in pain, and especially so to have to see a family go through a put down. Anyway, at about 10:15, a family who pulls in to drop off their dog to be treated. See, a sweet lady about 9-10 years older than him walks out to see who it is and what the issue is. Cue the instantly annoyed Karen. C begins to talk as Karen rolls down the window. Good morning, mom. How can I help? Karen, my dog is sick and he needs to be treated. Now. C, that's what we're here for. Can you please explain? Karen, he needs to be treated. I don't want him to die and if you don't treat him he will die. C, mom, I'm very sorry your dog is sick but I need you to explain the ice. Karen, visibly angry, starts to talk over her again. C1, talking over the Karen, silencing her for the minute. I can't help your dog if you don't tell me what's wrong with him. Karen, well, he's been whimpering all day today and yesterday and he won't go outside. You're the ones who are supposed to be treating him. How am I supposed to know? C1, wanting to stop talking to this grumpy lady. Thanks for the information. I'll come to take your dog inside with me and you can wait in the car. Where is your dog now? KH, he's in the trunk in his kennel. C1, goes to unload the dog, then returns to the window for an obligatory question. Is there anything else you want me to know before I bring him inside? Karen, yes. We want to go inside with him. C1, I'm afraid that will not be possible. Karen, gasps, are you trying to tell me that I can't come in with my dog? I'll tell all my friends that you all are animal abusers if you won't let me and my precious children in. Then I can keep an eye on you. C1 begins to cave. I'll go talk with doctor. C1 talks with doctor, then returns. C1, doctor says you may stay in the waiting area as long as you do not make a ruckus. Karen, I knew it. Then I can make sure you're not touching my dog. C1 goes inside, family in tow. The family takes a seat and C1 takes their dog back. Keep in mind, none of this has happened to my cousin. He told me that he was originally a bit confused when they are sitting there, but when told that doctor gave the okay, he doesn't push farther. Everything is fine for about 25 minutes or so. Then they start to get impatient. My cousin told me that the animal hospital wait times are long and are now even longer with the presence of coronavirus. Karen goes up to the counter to talk to the receptionist. Karen, snotty, excuse me, what's taking so long? I'm sorry, your dog is in the process of being treated and this may take several hours until they are finished with him. Karen, well, why don't they hurry up? Because we take our job seriously and they don't want to rush treatment so that your dog can return to normal. Karen, we have places to be. You may leave if you want. We will give you a call when we are done. Karen, no, you are all animal abusers and I will not leave until I know that my dog is safe. At this point, the receptionist isn't willing to fight the fight any longer, and to her relief, Karen goes back to her family and sits down with a huff. This series of complaints isn't even the end of the story. Far from it. It gets worse, but the story gets better in a way, I guess. They've been sitting there, waiting for about an hour before the kids start getting restless and are running around the waiting area uncontrolled by their mom, strictly against what the doctor previously said, which makes my cousin upset when he sees them after coming out of a room to deliver another patient their dog. When these little shits see the dog, being the spoiled brats they are, they both beg to pet the dog. My cousin says no, as it's against company policy to allow anyone but hospital staff and the pet's owner to touch the pet in the hospital. They begin to cry and they run and tell their mom. Immediately my cousin knows that now he has to deal with the Karen and most likely her husband, so he prepares himself for the barrage of the entitled parents questions. As expected, after hearing her kids' complaints, she stomps over to my cousin and starts shrieking at him, and soon her husband joins in. Karen, excuse me? MC, yes? Karen, why won't you let my kids touch the dog? They'll be really gentle and they deserve it for having to sit around few slowpokes and animal abusers. MC, I'm sorry, but it's against company policy to allow people from outside hospital staff and the owner of the dog to touch him. Karen, not unexpectedly, throws a hissy fit. Karen, if you don't let my kids pet that dog right now, I'm calling the cops on you and I will tell them that you all have been abusing animals. MC, this dog just had major intestinal surgery to get something removed from his colon. He is very tired and will get upset if provoked. KH, in a douchy voice, can't you just let them eat it? It's not a big deal. MC, it is a big deal. If you pet it, it might bite you or your children. Karen, then why are you taking care of it? It should be put down if it's biting little children. I should call animal control to tell them to put it down because you animal abusers taught him to bite. At this point, my cousin feels his blood boiling and he wanted to slap her in the face at her utter stupidity. Thankfully, at that exact moment, Doctor comes and rescues him from Karen and her husband and manages to cool them down while my cousin brings the dog outside to his waiting owners. Who would think that this would be it? But it takes a huge downward spiral from here. About 30 minutes afterward, the Karen's family is still waiting. Their total wait time totals about an hour and 45 minutes at this point. Another family rushes in with their dog. Their dog is obviously very old and frail, and while the family is hoping for the best, she is probably going to need to be put down. These are the dire circumstances that my cousin told me to mention before. The hospital lets the family in and they, unfortunately, must put the dog down. The other family, obviously, is deeply saddened by this, but the father allows us to go through with it. He says that he doesn't want her in pain anymore, and my cousin, although upset to see the family in anguish, agrees. After about 10 minutes after all is said and done, the family comes out crying. My cousin comes out of the room, holding a wooden box with their dead dog inside as they had requested to bury it on their property so that they still could feel a sense of closeness to their dog. He is walking towards the door when he locks eyes with Karen. Big mistake. Karen goes completely off the rails. She notices my cousin carrying the box and rushes quickly to stop him from following in the tracks where the other family, grieving, has just exited. MC, excuse me, Mom, I need to get through. Karen, I'm not going to move through unless you tell me what is in that box. Chimes in, Mom, what is in that box must be given to other family, immediately, please move. Angered by the fact that she isn't getting her way, this bitch immediately starts pestering MC with questions, asking why my cousin and the hospital been rude to her family this whole time, asking if there was animal abuse stuff, sick, in that box, asking if her dog is in there and why we're kidnapping him. Those were some of the many outlandish questions she was asking my cousin. MC, losing his patience at this bitch, Mom, you really need to move. This must be delivered to other family, so that they may leave. Karen, screeching like a banshee, I will not leave. You need to show me the box or else I'm calling the cops. MC, absolutely fed up with it, talking loudly now, it's not my obligation to show you something that another patient needs. Company policy requires us to keep the personal info of our clients secret. And Karen blows her top. Her husband, who was standing next to MC but he hadn't noticed, grabs the box from my cousin's hands. Now it's my cousin's turn to get mad. MC, that is private property. Give it back to me or I'll call the cops on you. Karen, smug now, that won't happen. I'll show them all of the tools that you use to abuse poor animals and you'll be locked up and it'll be so funny to see the look on your face when my husband opens this. Her husband then slams the box down on the floor, sending the box into splinters and the dead dog on full display. Karen, screeching, I knew it. You are all vile, I'm calling the cops on you right now. At this point, everyone else has come out to see what is going on. Karen and her husband are apprehended and the receptionist ends up calling the police, who eventually come. Karen is screaming like a banshee the whole time. Karen, these people are animal abusers. They are killing animals. Just look at this dead dog. MC, and basically all his co-workers are telling the police the true story of events. They handcuff Karen and her husband and haul them off to a cruiser while the kids are given to the care of a social worker, and they left. Since that only happened a little over a week or so, I don't know what happened, but my cousin and I hope that Karen gets jail time. She fucking deserved it. Just think about that poor family who had to suffer through their dog dying, only for some entitled bitch to come in and ruin it even more. Sorry for the long post, I kind of needed to get that off my chest since I've never heard of someone so entitled before. I'll try to provide an update if anything comes up, but I'm kinda fed up with all of this. TL. Doctor, entitled Karen fucks up so much stuff over the course of 2 hours at an animal hospital. Thank you. Next. You all seem to like the sewing machine story, so here's another one of my lovely customers. A grandmother walks into the store with her granddaughter and asks us where X is located in the store. We take her to the section and they happily browse. About 10 minutes later they walk back up to the counter and place their item of choice on it. On the counter there is a flyer announcing the opening of our brand new store that is happening the next day. The new store will have a mascot from the brand of toy they picked out, and there will be a one-day only promotional sale on the brand as well. It's important to note that the sale will only be at the new store, not the store we were currently in. They notice this flyer and the grandmother picks it up to read it, notice the announcement of the sale, and her brain starts forming the question that she believes will make her day. Do you think you could apply the sale for us today? Right, single quotation mark. I'm forced to say the single word that customers will just about kill you for saying. No, I'm very sorry, but that sale price is only going to be at the other store, as it's meant to be encouraging people to go there and check it out. We worked really hard on it, so you're welcome to head there tomorrow and get the sale price there. The look of confusion on her face was priceless. She asked again, so you're telling me you're not going to give me the sale price? And of course I said yes. I'm very sorry, but it starts tomorrow because of the opening of our new store. Giving it to you today would defeat the purpose of the sale. I encourage you to check out our new store tomorrow. She then asks me to call my manager, who of course says the exact same thing as me, which I inform her. Her eyebrows furrow, her lips purse, and she tilts her head at me, as if trying to understand my logic. If this movement has never been performed at you, please do it to yourself in the mirror. It's quite intimidating and honestly the face of entitlement. In the end she reluctantly agrees, pays the correct price, and walks out of the store muttering about how unprofessional I am. That's on me for doing my job, I guess. Woman shrugging. Thank you. Next. This one happened at my work. A lady bought a kid's sewing machine from us for her daughter's birthday present. The box is wrapped in plastic so cannot be resold once opened. One day she storms into our store with her daughter, plonks the sewing machine on the counter and demands a full refund because the sewing machine was smaller than she expected it to be. She stated that one of our staff had called it a nice big one. That's a bit subjective, eh? The box also comes with 4 mini mannequins and fabric, so we tried to explain to her that the other things wouldn't fit in the box if there was a bigger sewing machine inside. She kept on going and was very aggressive in nature. She genuinely said to us, "My daughter opened it and loves it, but it's not as big as I wanted. It's her birthday today. Do you want to tell her she's not getting a present?" We told her that we cannot take it back because the box had been opened and it was not in resealable condition. "That's not my problem. That's yours and I'm entitled to a refund." She went on for ages and eventually my manager asked her to leave the store. She was a member of our store loyalty program, so we had her phone number. Our higher-ups ended up contacting her and informing her that her behavior was completely inappropriate and our staff should not be spoken to in that way. Lo and behold, a phone call comes through of her apologizing. Thank you. Next. This isn't my story but my brother-in-law's. He used to work in retail. This story happened in September of 2019. My brother-in-law worked in a local store. One particular day, a Karen came into the store. She was minding their own business until Karen questioned my brother-in-law about gift cards. Here is the following conversation. Karen, what is a gift card and what does it do? Bro, it's something you can use to buy items. Karen, so basically saying that you can use money to buy money? Bro, not exactly, but something like that. Karen, that's an idiotic thing to buy. Why would you buy a $50 gift card for $60? I lose $10. Bro, mom, please calm down. Karen, you can't control my action, you pathetic store yorker. I know the owner of this establishment and he will get you fired if you still talk to me with that attitude. Bro, mom please stop, you're annoying other customers. Karen, bring me your manager. Before Karen questioned my brother-in-law, bro's manager was in the aisle next to them, so the manager heard everything Karen said. Manager, mom please leave the store or we will call the cops. Karen left the store growling and angry. End of story. Edit. For the people asking about the $10 thing, my brother-in-law told me that they didn't charge additional $10 for a gift card. Karen probably thought it was a scam, so that's probably why she said it.